Okay, let me start again. Have a great day. Thank you for being here today. I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Philippe Baudin. In my life, I am working for a German group. I'm vice president for the French group, for the German group. I'm here because in April I was required to chair the Salon Équipe Auto and the Innovation Prizes. As you know, this year, Innovation Prizes are the core of our system. We worked a lot so that this edition, as you will discover when the doors to the show open, we'll make sure that the show will again be a great show, enabling everyone to find what you're looking for and look into the future. When you talk about the future, we're talking about innovation, produce presentation, and I want to stress this. I want to thank all the exhibitors who are here for this show. Again, it was a major challenge for us. We want to have a lot of equipment makers. Let me thank also for the prizes Jeremy for the work he's doing today to make sure you're here. And present a product, which is very important to you. When you talk about products, you gotta talk about Jean-Marc, who is here, who did a great piece of work with Jeremy. And I guess together they are a fantastic and winning team. We hope that this year again they will be up to snuff and select the right products. Let me thank you, journalists, for your support to make sure that the Innovation Prizes are again the right event for the show. It is very important to us. Now, when I talk about innovation, I don't want to forget. When thanking people, you've got Innovation Prizes and some companies are presenting here their new technologies. You've got, love at first sight, something you love at first sight, which is very important in revealing the motivation of people. And people must also be recognized. Let me recognize AGTE, in particular, journalists who help us offering and emphasizing people who did not get a prize or an award as they usually do. Something which is important to us. A few figures to give you an order of magnitude for 2019. We're quite confident. The show will open its doors in a month and a half. We're very well positioned in terms of sale. We've got a great new players, new participants, which is to us a very important point. A few figures to go back to the prizes of innovation, something which already was quite successful in the previous years. In 2017, we had 117 applicants for 35 nominees. We went from 117 to 153, which is a major advance based on the choices you have to make in the day. It is revealing because once again, let me thank all the exhibitors who took part. People come to the show are looking for information on new technologies. Having the system in place along with the innovation prizes will make it possible to advance new technology, demonstrate that suppliers and vendors have their skills in repair shops will measure and see what will be their daily life in the coming months. When innovation prizes are awarded, products and services will follow suit and will be offered in the marketplace in the coming months and years. Now, I don't want to add anything else. Let me thank you all for your presence in the show. It's important to us. Some equipment makers today will be pre-selected and communicate and prepare their communication plan ahead of the 2019 trade fair, which will have an impact, which is very strong. Today, application will launched at Igiboto. We have a lot of media coverage on the trade show, and of course, this will be made part of the communication plan. We hope you will make the right choices. Let me thank you again. Have a great day. Now let me give the floor to you. Yes, Gilles, you have the floor. Thank you all and have a great day. Have a great discussion. Good morning, everyone. Delighted to get the show on the road. Let me present to you the new simplified painting system, 3M PPS 3.0. You know the standard PPS we launched 20 years ago, which is the benchmark. It's a product which is very liked by the painters. They had to give us a grade on the level of satisfaction, which was 4.7, but we realized that we had a few things we could improve upon to offer this new version, which I'm going to show you to you. We're going to see the main avenues for improvement, connecting the gun and the bucket. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. What you see when you look at the systems, the new cover, where you have the fixation ring to lock in the filter onto the bucket. You don't have this ring which is sort of heavy and hard to set when covered with like paint fog. You save time, and also the cover can be fitted easily. Anyway, all the comments or feedback from painters using it. What you see when you look at the system is the new stiff bucket with a window. You can see through the bucket the remaining paint when you spray it, and also you can pinch the pocket, avoid that it all comes out of the stiff bucket when you want to refill it. We worked on the connection of the system to the gun with a new adapter, which is broader than it was before, which makes it more stable, easier to connect and disconnect. It is broader, larger, and you can clean it more easily. It's important to repair and to clean guns. When you look at the core cover, the shape, the top, the shape is dome shaped. So you got some space before the filter and the gun, resulting in an increase in the volume of paint, which is pre-filtered for spraying purposes, and you can measure an improvement in the flow rate, the flow. You can improve the flow of paint. Between 5 and 6% is being saved. Operators can work faster or reduce the pressure and limit the paint fog and save on some paint. For people who like to keep paint in the pocket, we improved the shape of the stopper to store and to have an immersed filter for further use. Here's what painters said. PPS, which is very light, instead version, if you have to give a grade and evaluate the new level, every time It is perceived as a major advantage by the painters. The product is really liked by all the painters. It is something which is easier, cleaner, and you can save time. PPS will save you time. And ready and finished. Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me introduce myself if you don't know me. Name Didier Couvre, and CEO of Venov Car, which I founded in 2006. I'm very happy to be here today. First story, let me thank you for having selected me for the Innovation Prize of the Rénovateur d'Optique, the headlamp renovator. The car makers have the same problem everywhere. Polycarbonate headlamps which are getting dull and reducing visibility. Today you've got 2 minutes to remedy this. Cleaning for 6 months, and the execution time is quite long. Applying a varnish, modifying the vision. It is fastidious and doesn't satisfy professionals in repair work. Because of this, Inovka is offering a headlamp, steam-based headlamp renovator to renovate all the headlamps which are polycarbonate very quickly. We carried out a video for 2 minutes explaining to you this exceptional product. Let's view it together. Headlight renovator. I will present a new product. We've been selling since May, called Renova steam-based headlamp renovator. Using the new simple system, you can have the brilliance of your headlamp for at least 24 months running. The first thing is to leave, not demount the headlamp. Take a tape to hide and protect the headlamp when you use the sanding machine. When you start sanding the headlamp, what's important is to have a 240 grain. If you have a grain which is finer, you probably will not get into the polycarbonate after this first step. The body of the coach builder will have its own finish, at least 1500. Once sandblasting is over, you apply the product. Fill out the content and put the cover and wait for a minute for the steam to occur after boiling. Then you put on the cone. We're ready to apply the steam on the headlight. Start from the bottom to the top progressively. This operation will last between 1 and 2 minutes, and you're going to have a brand new headlamp. At the end of the use, wait a few seconds for the product to cool down, and you fill it again into your bottle. Using a 600 milliliter bottle, you can renovate 30 headlamps. Refills are sold at retail, costing you €2 per refill. See you on our Inovcar website. See you later, and thank you. Thank you. We've been selling this product since May. We sold 3,000 cases without any advertising. The feedback is 90%. And we're waiting for the Quebeco Trade Fair to launch this product. Have a great day, and thank you for your attention, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Representing Italcan, I want to talk about a spraying booth which is 100% electric. This called CMC Italian, maker since 1947. I'm going to try to speed up. First part of the booth will give you a touch screen to follow the process and follow the consumption cost per cycle. Second feature is that we deleted all the burners, no gas, no fuel. We've got a battery to generate hot flow. We've got an inverter controlling the engines to regulate the ventilation. A setting system to distribute the airflow into 4 areas in the spraying booth to work on a wing or on the whole body or on the side of the car, saving a lot of energy. The heat will be recovered and reused into the booth. You can't recycle air. It is a system recovering airflow. We can understand on the right on the graph the time necessary to have the temperature on the support. If you're 60 degrees on the car, you need 6 minutes. Data are picked up, are recorded, and any infrared system is part of the walls of the booth, and on the ceiling you can distribute into 6 areas of drying. If you want to work on a door only, the graph in the middle will compare the drying time of a burner to the infrared system. Electric lighting, it must be well lit if you have a screen booth to work well. We've got 96 LED neon LEDs to have no shadows in the booth. Standard sizes are 7 meters for width, and you can have customized booths for special workshops. Productivity is very important. The booth is consuming a lot of energy. We compare this with a CCMC booth, a gas-operated one, for a 2-hour cycle, complete paint of a car. We have a €23.16 per booth. Energy cost and electric and gas operated. This will do the same work in 80 minutes. This will dry the body more quickly, and of course you're going to save money because it's €10.73 per booth. The paint of a piece of the part is less than €4. This is shown on the touch screen of the booth, and this can be connected to a computer. Advantages are, as you can see, are as follows. We have no drawbacks. It's interesting. You have an opinion of journalists. That's a July issue of this trade magazine. Thank you for listening to me. 4 minutes is very, very short. Thank you. Good morning. I'm the CEO of Omnia. To conceive this, we noted something obvious: explosion of the VO market with an impact on repair when you have a collision. The success of our customers is again based on production costs, quality, and speed of flows. That's why we agree that the activity of spot repair is separated from the conventional paint flow. As industrial techniques with our partner Refitengine, which you know, we decided to develop an equipment which is dedicated to spot repair with a single station to treat 100% of the repair without moving the car on a reduced area, carried by one operator. which is versatile to optimize the balancing of loads, which is a real problem. And of course, in line with the standards, and the new standards, I would say, which are more drastic, enacted by Europe in terms of safety. Let me give the floor to Lionel to present the equipment pieces in more detail. Good morning, everyone. I'm head of the car division for France. Full repair is a single station which is ventilated, closed by a door. The walls are pre-lacquered using rock wool. The power cabinet has the speed controllers too. Have two regimes for ventilation, half a flow and full flow. You got three drying procedures: infrared lamps, UVA, and a convection system with a gas burner. Equipment inside, the main ones are a lift table. You've got also multi-energy plates for sandpapering, connected to a dust suction system, and you got a gantry, which is mobile on rail for drying, be it UV and infrared based. Why is our equipment innovative? Innovation is due to the fact that we bring together in one workstation with a small size, 24 repair sequences, from primers to the finishing product, without moving the car and using one single operator. Repair work of average and small sizes for any customer. The raison d'etre of this full repair is the capacity to produce 4 cars per day, along with one operator, which is busy 50% of the time, and 40 square meters on the ground. We can go up to 16 cars to repair by doubling teams. All our studies are available to our customers, showing the optimum repair costs, quality of work, and that's it, folks. Thank you. Good morning. I'm delighted to present to you our new nitro Farah machine, which has been around for 14 years. What is this used for? Let me thank the jury for having pre-selected us, of course. The machine called MicroMaster is a machine, a generator, where you recover. I will show you a video which is explanatory recovering compressed air. 70% is nitrogen. We recover nitrogen, the only gas, which is anhydrous as inert. And in the body paint work, we're trying to eliminate humidity, as you know, and moisture. You have a dry, constant air. That's why we decided to import this piece of equipment to have nitrogen only, to have a flow which is constant, unlike compressed air. 21 gases are used. I don't want to labor the point, resulting in a fog and a loss of paint and soiling, clogging of the filters. Compressed air is used by everyone today. There's a lot of drawbacks to compressed air. That's why we decided to set up nitrogen. You can use any type of machine. It's an option which we want to provide to any car make. Let me try to share the slides, but I don't have a lot of time. To summarize, this machine produces nitrogen. There's also an ionizer inside to have better finish. Over the length of this we can reheat the pipes, and you can save on drying time when you use a gun, which is important. Time is money, as you know, and having regularity of the working conditions, because now we can use this throughout all seasons. The ionizer is great, and nitrogen will give you a constant flow. The last advantage I want to cite is that we can reduce the spraying air from 23 to 19 degrees. Now, let me show you the video. The spray gun import is ionized, heated up nitrogen irrespective of weather conditions. It's inert as a gas and anhydrous. Climate changes will, of course, impact your application conditions. We'll have to prepare the same amount of paint to carry out a test between compressed air and nitrogen. There's an improvement in productivity thanks to more evaporation, an increase in the covering power, reducing layers. You observe savings of products. Averages are 20%. Also, it was a bit short. Now, okay, come to our booth at the trade fair. Equipoto 2019 will be there to welcome you. Good morning, everyone. I'm product head for tires at Continental France. We're delighted to be here today. We'd like to talk about a revolutionary concept to change mobility, which is a major challenge in society today, which will come more and more to the fore. That's why Continental wanted to develop the future of mobility by developing a tire concept which will make the tire smart, intelligent, and alive and kicking. This concept will adapt to the driving conditions. We have two concepts independent of one another. The concept adapt. The first concept will make it possible for users and fleet managers to monitor key elements related to tires today. The consumer may monitor only the levels of water, oil, and the pressure of the tire. You must be informed about all the key factors related to tires. That's why, via a notification system where Continental has an expertise, we could develop gum mixtures which will be conducting and transmitting signals via a sensor in the tire to a monitor and a receiver located in the passenger cell to make it possible for the driver to be informed about the level of pressure, to anticipate any punctures, but also temperature variations to follow the tire, and also the depths of the tire trade related to wear and tear. This concept will be now presented by Philippe Frederick. Now, innovation does not stop. We have the Camille Adapt is a new design of tire having 3 areas of performance. On the outside of the tire trade, a tire trade inside for humid areas, and also a tire trade for drier areas. This is associated with installation of micro compressor inside the tire to make it possible to regulate automatically pressure of the tire, but also the width of the rim on 4 situations. When you drive on dry, wet areas, or when you want to save energy, or in winter time, the tire, thanks to the sensors and the microcompressor, will change and live. I'll give an example of winter time. The sensor will detect the cold, will increase or reduce the pressure, increase the width of the rim. The imprint will be larger, and the performance area in winter will optimize the risk situation, increase and reduce adhesion problems. Innovation is for extended mobility and daily innovation. Thank you. I'm Emily Pavier, in charge of its European subsidiary of Japanese company having 6 billion euros. Making transmission NT and SMS is also 100 years of innovation, one of the invention of the world standards. The ASB world standard developing a lot of ABS and so forth and so on. Using its micron department is changing the hybrids, sensors, and encoders in order to meet all the changes in the marketplace. And today, electric cars and self-driving cars. Today, 95% of the cars will be produced in 2024. Electric motors are really more and more popular. 100% of the electric motors tomorrow are synchronous and require an angle sensor to measure the position of the rotor and feed the right coils of the stators. The more precise the angle measurement, the more will be the yield and the power of the electric motor. This will lead to smaller batteries and reduce noise and temperature. The angle sensor is a key player in electric motors. The second issue for car makers is a constraint to reduce the size and the weight. And Team SMR will present to you a new onboard, inbuilt, embedded sensors. This product is made of a bearing for electric motors at 20,000 RPMs. A magnetic coder also is patented, and a magnetic coder with a reading head produced by a major supplier of sensors. This innovation brings together our expertise in sensors, but also in mechanic integration. You can adapt to all the configuration requested by our customers in terms of precision, thanks to these new sensors using new magnets. The precision is 10 times better. The signal delivered, which is analog, makes it possible to calculate the angle measurement, which is an earnest of precision, whatever the operations, whether you brake or speed. The solution, which is more current, is based on an optical network which has two components requiring all this. Our solution ensures measurement of angle with one component. It's a gain which is fantastic. It's a gain of 300 grams, only one piece to mount or dismount. You can adjust everything for quality, which is optimum, which is a guarantee of reliability. Our experience of equipment makers selecting our partner and our expertise led to this simple solution, meeting the requirements of cost and security required by the car. The embedded sensor is the step tomorrow for the angle sensing, and this will support the change of electrification of cars. Thank you for your attention. I am product head for Sage Fix Pure 6. Why did I transform this airbag into another piece for PSA? Recycling of plastic is underdeveloped. In Europe, every year 26 million tons of waste is being processed coming from the car industries. 30% is recycled by industry, but only 9% is in the car industry. That's why we are a bad pupil, but we'll have a margin for improvement based on the weather and climatic changes. Recycling plastic is necessary. You've got regulations out there in Europe. 85% of the average massive car must be reusable, recycled per year. This goal is more or less accessible thanks to methane present in the cars, but also because we've got recycled scrim, which is less expensive than plastics. We got a new phenomenon. We have raw materials, which is such that for 3 years, there's a request which is really on offer for plastic. Plastic is used on technical products and car filters. Obviously, for next years, for car makers, we've got to focus our efforts on plastic recycling. An increase of 20 points is our goal for all the players, like PSA does, going from recycle rate of 10 to 30% by 2020. How do we implement this innovation? 3 players. We have Solvay setting up this recycled 100% from airbag waste. Sage Fix testing and improving this material in a filter for PSA used in millions of parts. And PSA certified this process, but also this filter on equipped cars. Concerning the benefits, they're very positive. We've got performances which are similar, equal to this type of filter, even better on some areas in terms of sealing, in terms of weldings. It is a sustainable approach. On a production year, we saved about 32% of greenhouse gases emissions, equivalent to 483 twos and fros, return trips from Paris to New York, showing that the circular economy is possible in the car industry. That's why Sage Fix, as an ambitious step, extending the use of this recycled plastic throughout our range of products, our filters, to reduce the impact of our filters on the environment. Thank you. I'm responsible for the product at Schaeffler, France. Today I'm going to talk about the e-corner module. Today, the context, societal trends are urbanization. Based on the estimates of the UN, by 2050, two-thirds of the population will be living in cities or towns, and self-driving is increasing. As you can see under the graphs, 3% of cars will be autonomous, and 15% will be the next goal. Schaeffler thought about mobility solutions, developing the Schaeffler platform for self-driving in a car, in-town driving. It is modular in terms of innovation development, industrialization for car makers, and we've got to get our e-corner, the four modules in green, equipping the platform. How does this work? Thanks to the by-wire technologies, which is based on three main principles: sensors, so you can be aware of the environment; the central control unit, controlling the car, and the actuators. And here we have our e-corner to the right to make it possible to guide the car safely, and you will not use the driving shaft. We're going to show you a demo on a video clip. You have a 360-degree view on the e-corner. That's in a city or town driving situation. It's on the Schaeffler platform. You can see the suspension. You can see our seats, which are passenger seats, which are autonomous. And you got small lights to tell you which wheels control the car. 45 degrees and 90 degrees for parking. This is a main benefit. An exploded view. Let me speed up. Exploded view for the steering, the system actuator, then the undercarriage, and also the motor is in the wheel with the hub, and you can recover energy when you brake. And summary. It is totally hold by wire. Will handle the torque, and for independent wheels, a triple redundancy system. If a system fails, two systems will pick up the slack. Braking angles are interesting. Transmission power up to 25 US per wheel. Advantages are modular undercarriage, the compact assembly. You can integrate on cars easily and optimize space for the wheel clearance and the wheel well. Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chairman. I'm from SKF. Unlike my confrère, SKF has a different strategy. We are a provider of components. That's about components, which is very important for the comfort and the safety. It's an MSBU. MSBU stands for what? Thrust bearing unit. We're going to talk about this thrust bearing. SBU is easier to pronounce, I guess. Historically, it had a great success with car makers. We sold more than 40,000 units so far, and by 2021, a car out in three, a car and a half in three will be equipped with this product. As original equipment, we want to have 1 billion in sales of this product. That's our goal. It changed as the car industry did, adapting to the main constraints: weight, durability, cost, and also the use and the ease of use of assembling this product in the car maker plants. Very important. That's the latest product on the slide, which I will pass on to you. This SKF bearing is that you can respond to the constraints our car makers are faced with. Noise, dynamic noise, also the service life. When you have driving conditions which are tough, SUVs are highly loaded sometimes. And also the last point is offering a product which is easy to assemble for car makers. Our product meets all these constraints, as you can see. Another point, we got an SKF patent, which is not found in our colleagues, and that was patented and designed and made in France, in Saint-Cyr-sur-Loire, in the center of France. Works like clockwork. Asian customers, OEM customers, were the first to buy them if they have heavyweight cars, SUVs, or Volvo cars. And today we have also sales development with French car makers whose name appear on the slide. In my 30 seconds left, 10 seconds, it's a product which has great suspension performance, outstanding performance, I would say. We can avoid any noise problems, and the car maker has only one component to assemble. That's it. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm head of marketing at Burner. I'm marketing head. Use your microphone, please. Thank you. In 4 minutes, you can be successful. We're going to try to remain on time. Burner Group, you know it. It's a group which is European. In Germany's 60 years, 50 years in France. We'll support this event at Equipoto. We're a company which is German, specialized in distribution, multi-channel distribution, 400,000 customers in the fields of mobility, making, construction and industry. We're expert in consumables, dedicated only to professionals, recognized in the field of chemistry. We launched last June innovation for all the operators, cleaning, preparing the car. Inside, that's our product. The new X1. We're going to show you a video clip. It's innovative because talk into the mic. So X in 1. The new product. To clean the dashboard here with this X in 1 foam from the German company Burner. Cleaning the fabrics on the seats, for example. Spraying the foam. Cleaning leather parts. Cleaning plastic items on a dashboard, for example. On the doors. Cleaning the windows and the rear view mirror. X in 1 multi-use product. Well, it's a new cleaning foam for multi-use. It's been around already. It's not innovative, I guess. We already used it before. We had one now. The novelty is the formulation. We have a new formulation of foam, efficacious on every support, fabric, leather, plastics, what have you, wire, and glass. It is silicone-free, leaving no traces on the windows. We have an active foam, which is very compact, to use on the microfibers to clean the nooks and crannies, but also on traces on fabrics. Thanks to the compact foam, the efficacy will be very high. The interest is that it is a very versatile product for all professionals in mobility to allow them to save time. Saving time, you don't need to change the product. You're saving time because there's no risk in application, only one product. You cannot make a mistake, and you can save on money because you have only one product in the workshop, no storage issues. It was sold in June, back in June, and the feedback is great. It's our best reward, and if you doubt this, try it. We have a carton of products. You can use it today. Thank you for your attention, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. X in 1. Good morning, everyone. I'm head of the foundation, set up in 2005. Our company specializing in cleaning system based on steam. Partner of Technomap SRL, making professional industrial steam-based cleaners for 30 years. We're offering a range of steam machines which are effective in the marketplace. Our steam cleaners are adapted to industry, healthcare, local authorities, hospitality, and the car making sector, cleaning sector. We're interested basically today in what is the majority of our activity, to equip a lot of preparers, be it with professionals, individuals. It is simple to use and the results are excellent. The idea is to make it possible and give to individuals who are demanding a professional cleaning solution to clean their cars inside and outside. Now, Car Hygiene Plus is the first self-service steam-based engine or system developed and made by Technovab in Italy. It's simple to integrate into the car wash, requiring no installation to remove water. Water is very costly, as you know. Current supply and water supply is sufficient. The machine may work with an autonomous tank and also easy to use. We have several variations of the models available. We have 3 versions, the A versions with 2 functions, steam and aspiration, or just steam, when you clean the outside the car. The B version, steam aspiration, possibly application of detergent. In the version C, we have 3 applications you can apply: steam aspiration for inside the car, aspiration, classic aspiration, and application of detergents. We can also add an air compressor to inflate the tires. The machine may replace a vacuum cleaner and clean the inside-outside plastics, body, rim. We have several payment solutions. So you can apply a tokens, Visa card, Keys magnetic cards, coins, tokens, but also you can adapt the payment system in place in the car wash. Different various installations, all that is gas stations, car washes, car dealers, body coach builders, private companies. Why do we use steam to clean inside the car? To eliminate bad smells, destroy bacteria, clean the angles, the nooks and crannies. Thanks to the steam pressure at 6 bar, clean, quick drying that's high temperature, 165-degree temperature, and shampooing the seats. A few pictures to show you how this works, how the cleaning process works. While we're using steam for outside the car to clean the seals, the windows, removing wax residues, dirt which is accumulated, and I don't have any more time. Normally I'm talking for 4 hours. So, cleaning outside the car, Technovat, thank you for your welcome, and see you at Equipe Auto. Thank you.
Bonjour à tous. Donc Giovanni Barry, chef de produit.
I'm product manager at Corshare. The issue is simple and can be summarized in one question. How can you wash and dry better, quicker all the cars, more quickly, automatically, while saving on water, especially? I will now present you the new generation of CWB3 Clean Start IQ, the Smart Kausha Gantry. CWB3 is an automatic gantry with 3 brushes, which have been rethought with a new design, which is very visual, a new concept based on 10 innovations and 13 patents applied for, to offer the best results for washing and the best results in drying in the marketplace. Key adjust to adapt the height of the washing and the height of the setup. Key design, K-Design IQ for a gantry which is more ergonomic, informing the user during the wash process. K-Spray offering an active uniform foam on the body before high pressure pre-washing. K-Wheel and K-Blend IQ to wash the wheels, the rims, the hubs perfectly apart, whatever the size of the car and the wheels. K-Dry IQ, making drying more quickly and more efficient thanks to a whole set of nozzles set up onto ramps which can be tilted onto axes. And K-Brush IQ, K-Back IQ, the first multi-segment brushes adapting to the shapes of the bodywork on the sides, on the rear, on the front of the car. We can, thanks to all this innovation, thanks to all these innovations, we can wash, dry perfectly the cars more quickly and by saving on water and power. saving the resources, which are maximum of CW3 is associated with our recycling solutions with a saving on water up to 85%. To understand the innovative character of this gantry, let me show you a small video from Calcia. You can see here Plant IQ to the multi-brush washing system, rotating brushes like toothbrushes on a disc. Detergent is used for rims using high pressure, and you clean the whole wheels, be they small or big rims, whatever the width of the car. K-Brush IQ, vertical brush, which is multi-segment, unique, divided into 5 or 7 segments to espouse all the shapes of the car and clean it deeply. You can see we are adapting to the shapes of the car associated with the K-Back IQ, rotating the system at 90 degrees of the brush to follow the contours on the sides, on the front and the back of the car. The brush is pivoting, and you can clean the rear of the car. Thank you all, boys and girls. Good morning. Thank you for selecting us for this innovation project. I'm going to talk about W40 product. It's very short. We can talk about this for hours on end because of its multiple applications. They didn't change. What I'm going to talk about is a system for diffusion. Before looking at this, I want to talk about the history of WB40. It was born in 1953 during the space war in San Diego, where the US would develop something to remove humidity. It's a professional product which is diffused, disseminated, having professional roots. After 40 attempts, WB40 was born. Water displacement, 40 attempts. Water displacement, WD, sorry. In the US it was used as aerosol and was sold in California and all the US. And in the 60s, beyond the American borders, today it is sold in 180 countries. It is found in more countries than Coca-Cola. In 2006, we innovated by launching a double position spray. One of the main flaws was the loss of the extension tube. Users complained about the loss of the extension tube. We launched a tube which can be pivoted, which can be really swiveled. We launched a hose to treat inaccessible parts. The main novelty is the amplitude of the application. We have a longer tube than a plastic tube. You can reach inaccessible nooks and crannies. When you demount the parts and the engine, you have to access, hard to access tube with the lengths of the tube. Having the memory of the shape, you can access the point. It's metallic sheaths resisting heat. It will not melt like a plastic tube. But the main advantage is the fact that you can use it with one hand. It keeps it so you don't need to twist the tube. Therefore, you can use a lamp, or you can film or take a picture. The other advantage is the broad position or the precise application if you lift the tube. Let me try to speed away multiple applications in our industry. For example, we can release and loosen turbo screws. It's hard to access these screws, which you can unloosen and jam, but it will go beyond the car industry. We launched this product in two formats: a workshop format, 600 milliliter aerosol, and a toolbox format, which I'm going to pass on to you, which is a toolbox easier to store. A video is more telling than words. I'm going to show a small video on the applications. It's important in the car industry. Well, video doesn't work. Well, go to our YouTube channel. You'll realize that the product is usable in mechanics for heavy lorries and cars, in maintenance of elevators or lifts, or if you do-it-yourself guy, we can use it personally. Thank you for your attention. Good morning. I'm head of the company Xenon. A word about our company, which I founded in 2005. We have ranges. We are making additives, oils, loops, and what I'm presenting to you is next-gen TM coating. We know the issue of particles with diesel cars, clogging, soiling, rising temperatures, and regenerations, and so forth and so on. Next-gen technology is a catalyst, which is a high-performance catalyst based on cerium oxide and creating a reduction in the combustion temperature. Instead of oxidizing, you can see on a diagram, it will burn at 400 degrees and not oxidize in 800 degrees, a major difference. The coating itself, you got particles of 5 nanometers in diameters, which are like an oxygen sponge in the particle filter, creating a contact surface which is oxidizing the particles. Thereby, application is very simple. It's our main advantage. Do not demount the filter. Notice assembly. It's injected by a pressure sensor or the temperature probe. We've got 3 steps. Cleaning. You clean the filter first, you rinse it, and third step, you apply the product. Using a gun, you got 2 ways to apply the product. Offered to customers. Using a compressed air gun, 2 steps, cleaning here, and rinsing off. We got a 4-way flux automated system. While cleaning and draining the filter, it will also clean the injection, the system, EGR, turbo, and the particle filter, of course. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to present to you our new ranges of booths. 40% of our customers are suffering from allergies causing pollen, dust, and particles of dust. It is possible. To what extent are we contaminating? Organization WHO in 2018 analyzed several places in Europe, compared the quality of air in every country, which was looking at harmful gases, smells, odors, and particles. Why do we monitor the particles in air? There's an impact on health, obviously. In 2016, 80% of the population in big cities was exposed too high a level than the WHO recommended. It has a short-term effect, itching of the throat, eyes, chronic diseases like cardiac diseases, heart diseases, and asthma, which is a worldwide problem. To give you an order of the size of a grain of sand, 60 micros in diameters. We're proud to present to you our product against small particles, filtering the air before getting into the passenger cell. We're using this. Why do we use this technology? We're using 3 layers. The first 2 layers. The first layer filters the coarser particles. Second layer, using active carbon to absorb harmful gas like SO2 and NO2 and odors. And third layer, helping us in improving our filtration, is the electrostatic layer filtering particles, which are smaller inside. The third layer is composed of synthetic fibers, which are quite small, dense and compact, giving you finer porosity. Thanks to electrostatic properties, we're able to retain until 99% of the 2.5 micrometers particles, reducing allergies. Thereby, we'll present our new range available in the market in March 2019. 156 filters cover 150 million cars in Europe. These are filters helping us to breathe rightly and properly when you are driving your car. Thank you. Today, I'm going to talk about our repair solution for double dual clutch, wet clutch. First, the double clutch is an advantage. It makes it possible to bring together the comfort of an automatic gearbox and the responsiveness of a manual gearbox. A few market figures. First, few market figures. Apologize. These are car registrations in the world. We have several segments of gearboxes. Also, interestingly, the dual clutch gearbox has a high potential in terms of increase in market share. In 10 years, the increase of 30% in terms of car registrations. Talking about dual clutch, we have mainly 2 technologies. Wet and dry, depending on the constraints of the car makers in terms of the size, capacity of torque, and performance. As you can see on the slides, on the points at the bottom of the slide, advantages of the dual clutch, which is wet or based on oil bath, oil like dry, because of a small size. The oil bath air capacity of high torque, or it's not a drawback, but efficacy is reduced because of the oil resistance and the use of an oil pump, obviously. Now, for the spare market, Schaeffler is using a strong expertise in OE. 85% of the market share basically is for dual clutch in a dry mode. Schaeffler set up and developed many repair solutions dedicated to spare parts. For dry technologies, we are beefing up this range dedicated to oil bath based clutch for Volkswagen, while using a toolbox covering 250, 500, 6, 7 ratio gearboxes. We're offering more content than in the previous advantages. Exclusivity for spare markets. Complete repair solution means a kit. It goes beyond the kit. It's a kit of spare parts, a tool necessary and indispensable for handling this technology, but also technical support, physical in workshops or in terms of content, documents, or training. Technical support included in every kit delivery, a USB kit using a module for training, adding value for the repairmen who can use its expertise as a dual clutch expert, driving more customers, increasing sales while using the expertise and the quality of Schaeffler components. Thank you for your attention. Now we're talking about clutches, now we're going to talk about engines, a new brand. The context again is using the engine expertise of Schaeffler and OE inheritance. As you can see on the main engine systems, distribution, gear, command, control of valves or cooling for thermal parts. Every car has a unique component, at least these exclusive products, which are innovative. I can talk about the alternator coil or the camshaft decoupler smart solutions for repair dedicated to the spare part markets, like the engine kit, supplying all the accessory necessary, including all the accessory necessary for repair, which is missing, the seals and the nuts and bolts and coverage, which is great in the European market. The engine kit. It's a repair solution which is inter-systems repair system. We launched the engine kit, which is unique because of its content mainly. Each engine kit has part necessary interacting with the subsystem, which will be repaired and maintained by Schaeffler. We want to have the repair repaired quickly and efficiently. You're going to save time identifying and ordering parts in terms of content. The kit content will indicate clear repair recommendations, what has to be changed and replaced, avoiding any risk of damage to the engine, which will guarantee customer satisfaction. In the final analysis, the range today, we have 5 kits, 2 available to the right for the chain, for the main system. We're going to look into the one which is in Europe and France. The chain kit is the most sold kit. We're going to get into interaction. Interestingly, 7.5 million cars in Europe. The content of the engine kit is shown on the picture to the left. You have the main components around the chain, around the valves. What's interesting in terms of uniqueness is the tube for the chain, Schaeffler Chain Protect, the oil nozzle, and as I said, accessories for the seals, for sealing purposes. Oh, interdependency, I forgot. Why do we recommend, I got to speed that, why do we recommend looking at the chain and the command of the valves? When a chain is broken, this may damage the control. The parts may break And of course, the problems may occur advantages of a solution. Because on the right of the kit, the range will expand with all the necessary components for durable and professional repair, components adapted to one another, and saving times for workshop operators. Thank you for your attention. Let me present Veniport. I'm a sales manager. Thank you for your attention. We're going to talk about selective reduction of NOx. Before talking about this, the Veniport company, we're a company based in Portugal, north of Porto. We've been around for 50 years and basically 10 years of presence in the French market. 200 people work there and 50 million in sales. We're specialized in control emissions related to exhaust gases, power filters, catalysts, converters, and silencers and tubes. As an aside, presentation is in English. I'm going to try to translate the key items. NOx today is an issue for inhabitants, and that's why we're developing a product specific to helping us in reducing NOx. And the car fleet influencing climatic change. NOx is harmful 30 times more than CO2. It has an impact on all that is particles for the lungs, for the ozone layer. Its impact is great. Acid rain does ravage forest. Fog and smog is harmful in cities, and NOx also travels with the winds and currents, traveling large distances. Europe set up laws, and today the impact of NOx on the environment is due mainly to transportation. Looking at the graphs at the bottom of the slide, based on the law of 2014 and Euro 6, the impact is clearly identified. You can see the sales of cars to the right, sales of diesel cars are destined to drop in 2018-19. How does this work? That's simple. This diagram shows you what is this is the 80 blue we add in the car, for that kind of car. Navy blue getting into the mixture at the level of the combustion gases. SCR may be set up ahead at the front at the back of the DPF. The mixture of gas will make sure that we create a combustion trap into the SCR, and SCR, thanks to light, will reject water particles. Two technologies, zeolite and non-zeolite. Zeolite is based on the performances at high temperature and low temperatures. Veniport will be based on zeolite in the Euro 6 range. You can see here the Veniport range will be reaching 90% of NOx reduction, having technology based on OEM, quality control, and we can have better fixation of the product. Thank you all for your attention. Good morning, everyone. Before starting, I'll introduce. My name is Alexis Gisela. I'm head of marketing for ZF Aftermarket in France, accompanied by a technical support guy. We're going to present to you a product which is a brake pad for electric car called Electric Blue. It's the first pad in development of electric products for braking for electric cars. We're working on the discs or braking systems and control systems. TRW. We're going to show you the video. Let me first explain to you why we developed this product. What are the main features, and we'll focus on the range. Why do we have brake pads? It's a market reason. We observe that registrations of electric cars in France and Europe are on the increase. At the bottom of the slide, we have the European countries registering a lot of electric cars. In 2018, 20,000 cars were registered in Europe, electric cars. Also, it is due to the constraints of electric cars. An electric engine is more noisy, so you gotta try to abate peripheral noises which are occasioned by the pads. We got a use which is different. For the brake systems, we are braking at least mechanically 10 times less with an electric car than with a thermal car. You're going to work on the design of pads, brake pads. Let me give the floor to Pedro for the technical features. As you can see, an electric car will brake mechanically less than a thermal car. The car maker, let me take the electric car in France, a Renault Zoe, is using the braking system, the pads, the friction material used in cars is high performance material with rises in temperatures necessary, whereas electric car will brake much less. You gotta have a kind of deposit on the surface of the friction material which may result in noise. As you can see in a car stopping a lot at traffic lights and city driving, you may have whistling noises. So we're working on 2 points, working on the friction material which is different and working on the noise abating system, different friction material having vibration abating properties. That's why we developed MS 104A. Not the color, it is the brand name of Electric Blue. It's a specific anti-noise metallic rubber. I took the example of the Zoe and the example of a Tesla car. In our noise test, where was higher in terms of efficacy compared to the original pad. This equipment is ceramic based. We replaced the part of the carbon with ceramics, which will abate and reduce noise. As you can see, this range has a Kotek coating to improve the efficacy of the braking system. We won't talk about the range and advantages for repair shops, but thank you for your attention, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for your attention. Let me present a product which is quite innovative, designed by ABAC, the world leader, the urban leader of solutions for compressed air for car professionals and the small industries. XPN Q15, which will be a revolution for the use of the compressed air. This device opens new vistas for use of compressed air at the service of everyone, providing new market outlets for retailers. It is patented exclusive and patented by ABAC. Description of the product very quickly. You have an air compressor, got two brains, left hand and right hand hemisphere. We got in one hand the compressor, air compressor, oil free, no tank, very light weight, no maintenance, no constraint, and very lightweight and compact. The other part is a pneumatic a coil. You can adjust the length of the tube, or a coupler delivered with an air nozzle. You can fix it onto the wall. You're saving space in a workshop. You got a complete kit. You got the nuts and bolts and screws to be fixed onto the wall in every workshop. It's a plug-and-play product, easy to use, easy to set up. It supplies air. You can switch it off. 8-bar maximum pressure. 90% in the market, and it's a small compressor for the uses we're going to see later on. It's used in the workshop. Very compact, very designed, easy to install and set up everywhere. We supply accessories. We've got 4 kits of accessories summarizing the uses thereof. What are the kits? For paint, for painting, for bicycles, for silk screening, for attaching, and so forth and so on. Let me summarize. It's unique in the marketplace. In distribution of air, compressed air, same fairing, same housing, product design, lightweight and easy to use everywhere. Compressed air in the service of everyone, for everyone, as I said. Today, different solutions can be provided for business purposes. It's an inflation, it's a compressor set up in a bench in every workshop in France and abroad. Right. We have 4,000 units pre-ordered in France. First deliveries will be carried out in October and will be offered at the Salon Auto, Equipe Auto in October. Eric, our marketing head, will show you the product in real sight. I guess it will whet your appetite and you want to buy it for your workshop or garage. 149 euros as the launch price. Thank you all. Good morning, everyone. Rise and shine. TAC is very happy to present to you VT Truck. First, TPNS, Universal System for Heavy Trucks. It is a system to monitor in real time and check in real time pressure of tires in a truck. TPMS is at the core of the news. The European Commission just approved a law making the system mandatory for heavy trucks, buses, trailers by 2022. Our approach is that of connected mobility, which is cleaner, and we are preparing also self-driving. The product itself, here it is. It's a tool which is like a smartphone, small, easy to use, compact, to diagnose TPMS systems for all the makes and English protocols and the TPMS sensors. The use is very complex. We're going to read the sensor by looking at the valve. We got all the info, pressure of the tire, temperature inside the tire, also the status of the battery inside the sensor. We've got a database which is embedded in the tool. With this tool, we are addressing several issues. First of all, security, safety. We got too many accidents by lorries related to tires. We will, for fleet management purposes, before leaving the depot, you can check the tires of the truck or the lorry, eliminating all the issues of under or over inflation of the tire. Also, here's a study by Michelin Tire Company. With 30% of missing air in the tires, we would increase by 3% the consumption of a lorry long distance, 4,500 euros of savings in fuel for a long distance truck driving 100,000 kilometers per year. Significant saving, as you can see. A few uses, a case for the VT truck shown here. We're working obviously on beta versions with our partners, and we have excellent feedback. You can see the benefits in terms of time spent. TPMS is a problem which we address directly. A lot of time saving, TPMS expertise in tech. We've been around for 10 years in the car industry for assembling of cars as well as aftermarket, something we know very well. For example, using scanning functions, we can program universal all-purpose sensors and scanners. Our engineers are working on it constantly to improve and adding new protocols. We're offering 3 years of updates free of charge. Here's the retail price and some of our partners for the launch of the product. And you're going to discover it in October at the Equipe Auto trade fair. Thank you all. Good morning, everyone. Matthew and Cedric from Kloss. We're very happy to be here among you. We're going to present to you systems to help assembling the wheel for all the VL fleets. We're coming out of the workshop. Matt is coming out of the workshop. Explain to you. We'll have a small video lasting 40 seconds. Okay, let's be simple and efficient. People were faced with kind of situations, I guess, here in the room. You might have had occasion once in your life to change your wheel. It's complex to hold your wheel and set it up in the face of the screws and bolts. You have to maintain the wheel, looking for a bolt elsewhere, and potentially you can drop the whole wheel, causing damage or a shock, damages, or physical damage, or whatever. Simply put, we designed this to facilitate and speed up the centering and assembly of wheels, which is very important. You're looking always for profitability, no workshops, but also adapted for hubs or where you have no screws for some car makers. Devoid of screws. This tool, this guide, is inserted without being screwed. Just you plug it in simply to set it up. Avoiding, of course, dropping the wheel. It will simply guide the rig through the hole of the bolt. The weight of the a rim on the guide will reduce the risks of musculoskeletal disorders. This will prevent poor positioning of the body. You might have backache or disorders because on average the weight of a wheel when you hold it is about 20 to 40 kilos. Simply put, this guide will make it possible to the operator to be free of his movements. This tool is equipped with a small plastic ring, avoiding, of course, damaging the thread. And here is a support, which is a bracket, which is magnetic to facilitate storage. We're going to show you now a video to demonstrate how the guide works in practice. M12 and M14 guides. That's the wrong posture here. You're going to maintain the wheel. You might have musculoskeletal disorders. Using the guide, it is simpler when you assemble the wheel. That's it, folks. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Maxence. I'm going to talk about the wheel puller, the Flippy wheel puller, which is part of a solution to provide more than just parts for the truck. It's a complete full repair solution, part of the Phoebe Plus concept and the Blue Point and the Phoebe tester, which won a prize. Here's the wheel puller, the cart, and the wheel puller to the left, responding to issues in the workshop. Weight of the wheel and its size. Truck lorry is very heavy, 80 to 100 kilos, and you can seize and metallic parts may seize because of sold, corrosion, and humidity. When you demount, it will be a problem because the wheel is seized. The cart, we can support the weight of the wheel, adapting to every type of truck wheel, different type, supporting the weight of the wheel, adaptable in terms of adjustment, in terms of handling, and you can have on it the tools with the keys and the bolts and all the necessary items. The wheel puller is very simple in design, 100% mechanical parts. You can adapt directly to all the wheels, all the trucks, to meet the issue of all cars. And trucks. Here is a small video of the process. We can adapt the width of the wheel. You disassemble the bolts classically, and there's a seizing of the wheel. The wheel cannot detach itself. That's why the tool we can, detach or remove the wheel. You set the tool, you insert the chains in the rim, and you remove the seizing because of the chain. We're using a key dowel, and you can secure the wheel on the tray on the chariot. And reversely, we can, mount the wheel on the truck. Inversely. Advantages: gain productivity, facilitate the work. A seized wheel without any tools will be very hard and complex to remove. Will require a lot of physical effort. This will, of course, reduce the painful work and musculoskeletal disorders. We have a partnership being set up with TRAM, the Life Sickness Insurance Fund, to facilitate the life of mechanics, which is priceless for a head of a company. Thank you for your attention, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, everyone. Eric Bostel from Provac. I'm going to present to you a tire puller called Revolution Walkaway from Hunter. It is totally automated, and it's a unique process, whatever the type of wheel and the size of wheel to be processed. The value of it is to delete the expertise of the operator, to replace it with an expertise from the machine, providing versatility in your workshops. Now here is whatever the type of wheel, the machine will process it in the same way, in the same manner. Assembly to disassembly process. We've got an operating head with a lever, and the whole the mounting and mounting process will be using a pedal. You remove the old wheel and you put in the new wheel as an operator. You got contactless wheels to facilitate the setting up of Q7 wheels. You got a motorized arm to facilitate stiff rain flat wheels, and if you want, you have access to videos and animation to facilitate training. The role of the operator will be confined to 4 steps. First, setting up and removing the wheel on the machine. What it's got to do is position the valve or the TPMS sensor, that the wheel knows where the sensor is. You've got to remove the wheel and position the new tire. Once you have the first wheel, all the other wheels will be processed automatically. The first demounting will be done by the operator. The other wheels, which have the same size, will be processed automatically to balance the wheels. If we compare this puller with the other wheel demounting machine, you have to process 17 operations. When you mount and demount. In terms of the revolution, the walkaway, everybody can do this. Once the machine has the experience, you've got 4 steps. Choosing the centering code, memorizing the valve, positioning the diameter of the rim, using the inflation pressure, and also using the bead pusher. I want to show you a video. I've got 1 minute left. Good morning, my name is Jean-Claude Fontaine, representing Axia. I'm going to present to you the method developed by Axia to process diesel cars, which are polluting cars. Let me give you some background data. Today, thermal cars have a bad press. Polluting cars are being taken to task, which is harmful for the aftermarket market, where garage operators who have problems repairing cars which are more and more complex, because cars today, to repair them, they must be diagnosed, and it is really not mechanics but informatics based in every day in every workshop. New breakdowns appear in terms of issues of pollution. What's more, the world is changing fast. Being aware of the environment and sustainability, that's why standards are being more and more stringent for pollution. In garages we have new diagnosis problems for which, new diagnostics problems for which garage operators are not prepared. Last, the distrust against diesel cars is such that we have new breakdowns for which garage operators are not really equipped. Finally, the complexity of cars, the distrust against diesel cars are such that in garages we have a lack of training, a lack of support, and a lack of tools, which is harmful for the profitability of garages. To revert this trend, Axia set up a method which is innovative to process diesel cars. This method is based upon called après-vente, is an original method based upon interaction between diagnostics and electronic diagnostics of computers and the opacity measurement of exhaust gases of diesel cars. It's a new method, 100% developed by Axia, connected to a pacemeter, which makes it possible to repair simply, surely, and healthily. Simple repair. This method is guided, same for all the vehicles, whatever the make. You can diagnose electronically all of the cars which are polluting, and in 3 minutes, within 3 minutes, less than 3 minutes, garage operators are geared to processing or repair to be carried out. It's a method which is sure, fail-safe, in line with all the European standards. French and European adapted to all standard changes. It's healthy because you can clean up a diesel fleet while being transparent for users, and you can recreate activity and business for garages. Finally, the après-vente method is time-saving for garage operators, a solution to every pollution problem, and transparent for users. Using this après-vente method, garage operators are making a difference and will create a miracle. Thank you all. Good morning, everyone. Thank you. Philippe Astier in charge of marketing and Delphi Technology. Clement Appel in charge of diagnostics at Delphi. I'm very happy to be here to present to you exclusively our first solution, DS Flash, dedicated to pass-through. To meet this issue, which is related to updating computers on cars, we're going to talk about two vectors: giving the background data in the market and focus on the solutions we have brought to bear on this within Delphi Technologies. Cars are more and more connected, electrified. You see different key figures on the screen in the market for cars with more sensors, more computers, more code lines, more reprogramming, 300,000 million code lines in the cars next year. A repair garage have some problem. We're looking at the pass-through for the first is the need to update the command unit. It is the only solution for repair. Many spare parts require inline coding with the car maker server. We got G35 standard. For the pass-through tomorrow, we have to make available downloading table, and then we have to have access to their data table, databases. You need downloading increasing by 30%. You have on a car here a technical bulletin for a Peugeot 208 updating the control unit. No mechanical part is incriminated. The only repair solution is applying the pass-through solution, namely updating the command unit. This process was hard to implement for professionals. It was perceived as very hard, impossible to carry out. Many bugs were possible. The process was complex because of every software package. You could not set up the software from different car makers on the same computer database. Now, that's for a multi-brand, a multi-make workshop to meet all the problems cited by Clément. We worked internally with experts, working externally with experts in different occupations, with groups, workshops, experts, to think about a solution which is full solution. We would present the first solution dedicated to multi-makes, a pack which is all into one, having 3 main items, dedicated to the high level to respect the standard, a PC ready for use, respond to all the software packages, and current stabilizers to ensure voltage during the downloading of the data using the software. With services, we're going to have updating of the PCD flash to meet the requirements, creating the user accounts with like step-by-step instructions and diagnostics experts to help the repair shops. It's a tool which was created by experts for experts to guarantee a level of diagnosis as that of the car maker, pinpointing all the problems. To say yes to the customers, I can reprogram the computer, and it is a drive for developing sales for the whole profession. Thank you for your attention, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I'm going to present to you our new product, which is to depollute the engine in the market, which really changed because of many things. Turbo, particle filters, all the particles, conditions of use which are harmful for cars. 73% of engines are clogged off. They're consuming more fuel, pollute more, and there is a risk of more breakdowns. You know this for a fact. Our solution is hydrogen injection to clean the motor, removing deposits in the engines. Let me explain to you how the machine is a revolution in the market where customers are aware that depolluting an engine with a chemical is useless. It took 4 years of R&D. Main Connect will apply for 3 patents. AI to the pollute Connect will clean the engines in 4 steps. You can look at the profile of the driver. The machine will analyze the clogging of the parts of the engine, cleaning in a customized way, and a report presenting the status of the engine before and after will be sent directly to the garage owner and to the customer. let's focus on the diagnostics, one of the major steps. Diagnostics phase of the process will predict invisible breakdowns, setting up the profile of the customer based on the mileage of the car, but also based upon the driving context, urban, freeway, motorway driving. We look at all the defect, and we have all the comparing the position of the part and the real position of the part. Displacing the valve, we can deduce the problem. Elsewhere will be sent to our servers, customer profile, parts movement, defect codes to have a customized treatment and processing. At the end of the treatment, the Calamine Connect will produce a report before and after. This will be sent to by email. Professionals can talk about the efforts of the treatment. The driver knows exactly the status of his car. This solution will reduce breakdowns, reduce fuel consumed by 15%, and reduce by 50% pollutants. Let me summarize our claims in terms of ecology. No chemicals in the machine. The only consumable is water, only water. Up to 50% of pollution, less 50% reduction in consumption, no rejection, no exhaust of pollutants. Assets for professionals. It's autonomous. Professional is at the cutting edge, better improvement of the service because of the report sent to customers, no chemical consumables, and you nudge the driver's assessment of the car for the car before and after treatment, and reducing your carbon footprint and customized process based on your customer profile, predictive treatment. Thank you for your attention. I'm from Male, Carmichael. I'm going to present a video on a system for calibrating the ADAC system, self-driving systems. You got a 3D camera, simple camera,
Calamine,
and other sensors, proximity radars and sensors. We're going to look at our evolution, how to carry out calibration, which is simple, quick, and efficient, and error-free, using time saving and money savings. These are the main innovations of the product. The workshop must, of course, repair cars when you have to work on suspension, and basically when you got to change a windshield, you got to recalibrate everything. It's where the Male system, ADAS system, digital ADAS will really, replace the windshield very quickly. Reducing cost is one of the targets. First patent is a display on a 65-inch TV set. All targets are put in line directly via the diagnostic tools, via a PC to the TV set. If the car must be positioned, it's something which is not simple to do using standard systems. Although the car is askew, doesn't matter. The picture will position itself automatically based on the measurements taken, as you will see with the video. That's a time-saving, simple use, and efficacy because you will always be in the alignment of your car. Again, another patent which is described here. We got an offset picture to the left on a car which is askew, awry. You got the video here. We're going to pick the diag tool. We just have have the approval of the Federation. It's certified for the French market for its CSG. Okay, now here, the system will guide you through our diet tool. All is indicated. You don't need to think about whatever. From selecting the car down to this, these are the front wheels. A video which was not updated, but anyway, it's all on the rear wheels, of course. Here, we got 90 centimeters. This will require a dual calibration. You got two targets to set up. Nothing happens because you gotta have a first calibration using the target, and you gotta push back the target to get 270 meter measurement. Second process will be done automatically. I hope I'm right on time. You simulate what's going to happen. Look what's happening. We did not touch the car. No storage. Targets are direct. Very quickly. Half an hour time. Thank you for your attention. And see you later. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for presenting us into category. I'm going to show you a video launched. It's a lamp regulator developed by Texa based on our know-how. As you know, headlights are changing very much. They're changing a lot, technologically speaking, so we set up this regulator to respond to the new requirements of garage owners. What's important is that it is connected to the diagnostic tool and connected to the car. You've got two types of devices, as you will see. Discover it. Centering the headlamps using a laser, the frontal lenses, and you've got an embedded screen and embedded diagnostics. Changes of the lighting systems, you know them, xenon, LED, matrix tomorrow, laser, headlamps, the indirect difference of computers. It's very important. For safety purposes, there will be a need in the coming years for workshops to equip with the new generations of regulators. This device is available in two versions. Again, Tex has a specialist recognized for multi-brand diagnostics. We created a device which is a diagnostic for headlights. One is connected to the diagnostic tool. There's no screen to tablet interface to make it possible to read the default codes and do the adjustments. In other models, which has an embedded screen, touch screen, using diagnostics, you don't need to have a text diagnostic tool. You have an interface here at the bottom right connecting to the car. That's the diagnostic, which is connected, carrying out its self-diagnostic. You can carry out control of the lighting and do the adjustments. And it can also be connected to the diag tool, but it's not mandatory. The Fresnel lens is the biggest in the market to improve accuracy and speed of centering of the headlights. To summarize, the forte of this product. It's a great design. The aluminum structured Texa products are developed always with garage owners' workshops. So we want to have items adapted to the needs and requirements of workshops to make money and save time. Lumen instructor, easy to handle in translation. With a finger you can raise it and lower the Fresnel lens, and 3 lasers, 1 laser on the upper part, 2 for the car, 2 lasers for centering. Detection of the lighting is very important to save on time and improve safety, and steering control of the headlamps using the touch screen to make it possible to not go into the car. We're saving time. It's easier, it's more safe. Thank you for your attention. And good morning, everyone. Immersive D8. Before talking about our solution, Immersive D8, to train and maintenance, let me present you ExoTest education. We have 20 years experience in designing educational materials for car training. We have a strong presence in training centers in France and abroad. Historically, we developed partnership with car makers like PSA or the Volvo Group. We could understand the issues of our customers and our partners. What are the issues in car training? The scarcity of technicians who are qualified and effective. The level of qualification is going down, but cars are getting more and more complex. At the same time, you got to update materials, and training materials are obsolete for young people who only use their smartphones. That's why we developed with the Volvo Group an innovative solution by having augmented reality on an engine bench. The purpose is to train the learner in diagnosing using a system which is wireless, so he can go around the engine and do some operations and diagnose the issues. Diagnostics, you got to know the locating different components on the operation of different items, change in the engine and the fluids, circulation within the engine. This diagnostic is more relevant when it's done on an actual system and not a mock-up. That's why we are not using virtual reality, to focus on augmented reality. Our system makes it possible to locate different components on the engine, visualize the exploded component, understand how the engine works, injector motor, visualize depulsion systems, and visualize fluid circuits within the engine block, be it gases or oils. The trainer has a follow-up, a suite of tools to follow the learner with a quiz that trainer saving time and may focus on the shortcomings of the learner. You have an open-ended system using design tools. Unlike current systems, every trainer can create its own quizzes, a QCM, and follow the learner. And multiple choice questions. You can have also the use of electric engine benches, and you have dynamic measurements. Let me recall the motto of the Equipoto: repair today, prepare tomorrow. Maintenance, of course, is the preparation of tomorrow. That's why we're here today. And we're presenting this innovative system, which is non-pareil in training of learners. My name is Lamarck, I'm head of the core project. Let me present to you our CRE solution to automate and make the encryption process reliable. We have 4 components: measurement tool to scan the car, 3D display to recover the damages, AI components to analyze the content of the images, and a car maker database to identify and quantify the repair. Let us discover the background to the solution. These are the steps of the solution. Let us now go back to every solution. When the car is hit by hail, we're going to look at every collision. As you can see here on the slide, it is optical inspection based on the deflectometry process to measure in 3D the car. In a light, the light is projected onto the car to determine the flaws, defects, rank the defects, and determine the depth and diameter of every flaw or defect. They're shown on 3D. It's a 3D car and not a photo. Different impacts are allocated to the bodywork and to the windows. Components, AI components will provide additional features to rank the images, to classify the best ones, detect the defects, and extract the registration to be used. Quantification is used on the LACO database. You've got to identify the registration of the car. We're using the database of the car makers, references, prices. You can quantify removal of bumps, and should you remove the bumps, change or repair the damage caused by the hail. It's part of a trailer. It can be carried out. There's no lifting equipment. It's embedded or installed into a trailer. See you later at our booths. Good morning, everyone. Representing ELA, namely the Garage Equipment Division. MaxLive is an idea to help fleet management and improve profitability in garages. Goodman set up a dongle to make it possible to collect data, and to connect data on the cloud which will be consulted by the users via dashboard or a PC or phone applications. Now, the principle is very simple. You connect the dongle to the car rather. You got two profiles of dashboards and dongles. The garage fleet management profile, they're not the same profiles. You're going to connect the dongle to the car here. You can consult the dashboard, consult the cloud. You got information sharing to and fro, and you can monitor the car. The advantage, it can be connected to every car. Since 99, the dongle has a PC board, two G-SIM card, data feedback every 24 seconds, and accessible in real time on the cloud. The advantage is you can inform in real time about the electronic defects. You can use the tool to create a warning, an alert for the repair. You can also issue discussions or any action if you have a collision or any alert. The system will make it possible for the professional to increase and better follow up his customers and improve profits, and for the fleet managers, you can better monitor the fleet. The value of the concept is as follows. The professional can follow the car, can be proactive on cars, and have near contact with the user. The fleet manager can geolocate the car, get a lot of information, status of the battery, you can generate Wi-Fi in the car, assess the battery charge, you can have a better vision of the maintenance, and it's a very powerful marketing tool. Let's move on to the various views. On the dashboard, the list of active cars and inactive cars, global view of all the cars, information feedback of the customer, has discussion or must maintain the car, geolocation. You can retrace journeys, that's for fleet managers basically, and you can get feedback if the breakdown, will get the car to stop. Thank you for your attention. Well, let me present to you text. Now let me present e-truck, a revolution dedicated to the world of trucks, heavy truck. Let me show you a video to introduce the product first. E-truck. Well, e-truck doesn't replace the diagnostic tool, but adds up. Developed, of course, for workshops, for trucks. What is the fear of a fleet manager today? The national fleet manager, the car may, be stuck on the road 15 kilometers away, including costs and problems. E-truck was set up to maintain preventively, got information reporting back to the smartphone of the driver, which is confidential, and you get possibly a default code on two portals, one portal for fleet managers and one portal for the workshop. Info is being fed back, as you can see on the screen of the operator. The value is diagnostic in real time. What is a revolution is the possibility of intervening remotely in the pollution injection, which is quite novel and new. You can save a lot of time if you're a fleet manager. Here is a regeneration of a particle filter, for example, on the screen. We're working also on preventive maintenance, preventing a warning, a fleet manager that the truck must be maintained, and of course, erasing default codes remotely, because the defaults were resolved. A new dimension for the workshop doesn't replace the diagnostic tool, doesn't replace interventions, or you've got to provide innovation to save time and to avoid trucks being immobile. E-trucks, how does this work? It's a miniature tool which can be configured easily with the smartphone of the driver, plugged to the jacket of the car, created for workshops for multi-make maintenance to meet the requirements of truck makers who are quite advanced. You got a smartphone of the driver, downloading an app. Each truck, the dongle is plugged and connected to the OBD socket and jack, and you can retrieve remotely the information and share them with the fleet manager and the workshop portal. You can monitor the fleet remotely as a manager. You can do preventive maintenance, and for the workshop, for multi-brand maintenance, you can read the mileage, consult the mechanical parts and pieces, know the default codes in real time, and for injection of pollution, you can really intervene remotely. That's why e-truck is a revolution, providing a plus point to the multi-make workshop. See you at Equipoto in October. Good morning, everyone. Victor Calfon and myself, Alex Bella from Visiona, will present to you the self-car concept to meet the satisfaction, namely the two main dissatisfaction, waiting time at garages, the lack of information for how the car is processed. We're going to present a small video explaining the concept of this. It's the customer scripts, and what you can see here, the customer making appointments with the PSA. The appointment system is interfaced with a software to notify the customer through SMS, and the aftermarket managers to ensure traceability of each of the steps of the customer journey. The solution is like an ATM. You can recognize the customer, doesn't give you money, of course, and you can open a hatch. The customer will deposit keys and car papers and possibly retrieve a replacement car provided for, or a rental car if it was maintenance. The customer got her car, a replacement car, and go back to her business while the garage is carrying out the work ordered by the customer. And every step of the way, when the work is done, the customer gets an SMS informing her that the car is ready. If necessary, she can directly pay through the PSA payment system, a repair, and getting a code to go back to the terminal, get our keys back in a secure way, and return her replacement vehicle. Very simple procedure. You'd have to wait or line up or go to the after-sale services. The purpose is, of course, to shorten the waiting time. The team was managed by the business lab of PSA, looking for innovative solutions. 3 companies got together to develop the project. We started developing 2 pilot sites using autonomous garages, one at Nancy, one at Marseille. We had a pilot project lasting a year. The solution, with the help of Efficience, one of our partners, to access to the PSA server. I mean, I don't want to belabor the point, but the system can be rolled out in Europe. This will be the case, hopefully. The terminal, the front part, you got a front piece and a back terminal for the technicians to get the papers and the keys and give the keys back to the customer. The assets of self-cars are, we met a 24/7 hours a day requirement, and we can monitor these services by SMS, and the satisfaction rate is 4.8 out of 5 over a year. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for the PSA Business Lab, because we're 2 small companies. Thank you. We'll conclude the meeting very briefly because I guess after 35 presentations it's time to digest information. Very briefly, I want to thank all the speakers for the quality of their talks. I guess the awards are a thermometer of the aftermarket. We realize that it's a market which is very dynamic, very creative. My technical head, Jean-Marc Felton, will control what I say, but for garage equipment we had some 50 applications. The choice was not easy for journalists, but we are happy to see so many innovation ideas in our segment. 153 applications, it's a record. Cars are not aftermarket, is doing quite well, inventive and dynamic. That's very well. Let me thank, of course, my confrères, members of the jury, for the time spent pre-selecting your applications, voting in a very relevant manner, and see you at Equipo 2 on 11th September for the results, and of course on 15 October for the award winning ceremony.